Hi everyone, my name is Sanjeev. In this video, I will demo how to use Anypoint Code Builder to design, develop, and deploy APIs and integrations. Here I have logged into the Anypoint platform using my user ID and password. I will click the option Anypoint Code Builder, get started. Here you can use the Anypoint Code Builder ID online by clicking launch button, or we can install the Anypoint Code Builder on desktop. To install the Anypoint Code Builder on desktop, click install. So here are the prerequisites. You need to have Visual Studio Code, Git, and access to the Anypoint platform. We can follow the documentation. So we can click the Anypoint Code Builder desktop ID setup. So before you can set up the desktop ID, you need to have Git. You need to have access to the Anypoint platform. So you need to create a trial account. Once you have trial account, you would be having your Anypoint platform organization. You need to have that. Once your Visual Studio Code has been installed, you can open the Visual Studio Code, and then you can find the Anypoint extension pack from desktop ID. So once you find the Anypoint desktop extension pack, you need to install that pack, and it will contain all these extensions. So I have already gone through that process. I have installed the Visual Studio Code and I have installed the Anypoint extension pack, and I have here Anypoint Code Builder ID. I will use Anypoint Code Builder to design an API. So I will design a RAML API today in this demo, and then I will publish that API to the exchange, and then in the next step I will implement the API using implement an API option here. At the end, I will also demo a separate demo integration, how to develop integration Mule application that does not implement the API. So let's start. So I will click on design an API. Here I will provide the project name. I will give the project name order API because I'm going to create a order API. I will choose a location. Select this location. Order API project will be in this location. I will click the create project. So project got created, order API. It has a file order-api.raml. I will change the title to order API. I will define types first. I will create order type. I will add properties, desk, type string, description, order, description. Let me fix the string. There is no comma here. Max length, I would say 50. I will add one more field, QTY, quantity, type, integer, description, order, quantity. I will add amount now, type, number, description, order, amount, multiple of 0.01. order date, type, date only, description, order date. So I have created order type here. Now I will create the resource endpoint. So I will give orders. I will define get method, responses, 200 response, body, application JSON, type. I will use the order type that we defined previously. So this will return list of orders. Example, desk, description, television, LG, QTY, quantity, 4, amount, 46,000.60. Order date, 2024 0101. I will add one more item to the array, one more order, and I will say microwave, Samsung, quantity 2, amount 16,000, order date February 2024. So our basic RAML is ready. We have just type definition and then orders get method that returns the all the available orders. Here we can see the documentation. We can see that we have a order API slash orders endpoint and it have get HTTP method. And this is the example payload that we're going to return. And here is the definition. We have description, quantity, amount, order date. We can try it. Click send. Okay, let me save it. I saved it. I will go back. Try again. Okay, we got the response. Slash orders returning list of orders. So this is our simple API. We just defined it. Now we are going to publish this. For publishing, you have to log in. I have already logged in, but in your case, you need to click here. I need to log in. Maybe I can show you log out and then log in again. So let me log in. Username and password. So we logged in. I will go to the design center. Sorry, I will go to the exchange. So right now we don't have any asset in exchange under lag stack organization. I'm going to publish the API now to the exchange. For that, I will go to the view command palette and I will select the MuleSoft publish API specification to the exchange. Here I will select the organization lag stack. Project name default is fine. Artifact ID default is fine. I will click enter. Asset version 1.0.0 is fine. I will click enter. API version v1 is fine. I will click enter. So now we can see that API is getting published to the exchange, and once it is published, we will see the API here. Let me refresh it. Right now there is no order API exist here. In fact, there is no APIs here, no assets at all here under lag stack. So we got the message API specification successfully published to the exchange. And here we can choose the option, would you like to implement order API? I will say no, because we are going to implement in a next step by clicking explicitly option to implement it. Let's go to exchange, refresh it. This is our order API. It's got published in exchange. And here we can see the endpoint, order endpoint. We have a get method. It returns the orders payload. This is a sample example. Media type is application JSON. And this is the definition of order. Description, quantity, amount, and order date. That's what we provide when we define the API. Now we are going to implement the API that we published in Exchange. So we are going to implement this API in our Anypoint Code Builder. So I will go back to the Anypoint Code Builder and select the option Implement an API. Here I will give the project name, order, API, IMPL. Location, I will change it to IMPL. And here I will search the order API. Click show filter. And here I will select the organization lag stack. So we saw the result, order API version 1.0.0 REST API. We just published. So this is the API. I will click add asset. So we are going to implement the API, order API version 1.0.0. So I will click create project. So it's scaffolding the project. That means it's generating the flow for resource, get resource. We defined one get resource. So it's generated the flow, still loading the connectors. So it's scaffolded the flow for the resource type. So we had one resource slash orders. So this is the flow for slash order, and this is the default implementation. We have HTTP listener defined. It have path slash API slash star. So any path that start with slash API will go through this HTTP listener, and it using HTTP listener that is listening on 8081 port. And it also created the error handler, same like we see the in Anypoint Studio. So it has error handlers to handle the different scenarios, error scenarios. It also have the API kit router. That's what it using. We can run this and we will get the data default implementation. This one for get orders. For running it, we can go to the run and run without debugging. So application has been deployed. Order API implementation application has been deployed. I will go to the browser and I will invoke this endpoint orders endpoint. It should be API slash orders. So we got the result. So our API has been implemented successfully. We can see that it's working. Now we can add flow references and we can implement the flow using different MuleSoft processors and we can write the logic. But right now in this demo, I will keep it to this only and you guys can enhance the implementation. I will kill the terminal. Now I will go to the Anypoint Code Builder again and here I will show you how to develop an integration. So this is a developing a Mule application that does not implement API, then we can use this option. So let me show you how to develop a Mule application integration. So we can give the project name, we can give the project name demo, browse, I will change the location to integration, selections, and I will create an empty project. Create project. Is preparing for the flow canvas. Here we can build a flow. So flow has been created. We can rename it from here or from XML. I will say demo flow. Now we can add source and processors in this flow. So I will click add plus and I will search for HTTP listener and I will select this HTTP listener. Now I will add the logger. Now I will add one transform message component. So I will search for transform and I will select transform with output JSON. It will give some default JSON payload setup. So we have this first name, last name as a payload, JSON payload. Now we will add the configuration, HTTP configuration. For that, I will create a row above the flow and I will put the cursor above the flow and type HTTP. From here, I will select the HTTP listener configuration. We can either select the HTTP listener from here or from here. This will give only very basic skeleton HTTP configuration. In this case, in two-dimensional rectangle, you will get a default configuration for connection as well, like port and host setup. So I will click this listener configuration. So we got the connection with the host 0.0.0 and port 8081. Now we can change the configuration, HTTP listener configuration. We can change from here as well. I will select the HTTP listener configuration we just created. And for path, I will give /demo. I will save it. For logger, I will log the message. This is demo integration application. Click save it. We can run it now. Run without debugging. So application demo application has been deployed. Let me go to the browser and let me invoke it. So I will invoke the demo endpoint, click enter. So we got the result. So our implementation is working. Now we can deploy this to the runtime manager on CloudHub. So for that, I will go to the view, command palette, and we can select MuleSoft deploy to CloudHub. The default deployment.json has been created. We can use it as it is, or we can modify it. Runtime version is 4.0.1. Worker size is 0.1. Application name is demo. Worker is 1. We can add properties, for example. So I will send this property as well, sample key, sample value. We can do more modifications, but for this demo, I think this is sufficient. So I will deploy this. I will go to view, command palette, and deploy to CloudHub. It's saying invalid deployment configuration for project demo. Okay, here. So we have to put a comma here. Save it, go again, command palette, and deploy to CloudHub. We have to choose environment, so sandbox. So deployment has started, check the status. So I will go to the Anypoint platform. I will go to the runtime manager. So right now there is no application has been deployed in runtime manager. Let's wait. Fail to deploy. It's saying fail to deploy. Okay, what I will do, I will change the application name from demo to demo and today's date. So today's date is 0903 and 2024. So I will go to view, command palette, deploy to CloudHub, sandbox, deployment of demo 0903 2024 has been started. So it's deploying, showing the message deploying to the CloudHub. Let me go to the CloudHub runtime manager. So application has started to deploy. So previously it was failing because of demo is not unique name and it require a unique name. So I appended today's date. So I will go to the application. It is still deploying. I will go to the settings. And here we can see the properties. So we send one property sample key and sample value. We can see that's came here. Because when we deployed, we modified the deploy.json and we send this a new property. Runtime version and worker size and worker are default. We can see those as well. They should match. Runtime version is matching 4.4.0. Worker size 0.1. Workers are 1. And that's what we have here. And we have property 1. So our application has been deployed. Let me go to the applications. This is our domain name. I will click on it. Now I will go to the demo endpoint, remove the S, hit enter, so we can see the result. So our application has been deployed successfully that we created in Anypoint Code Builder. Now I will go to the API implementation that we created previously. So I will go to the open recent. So we implemented the order API. I will go back. So this was our default implementation and we were able to run in our local. Even this application also can be deployed to the CloudHub. Let me show you how to deploy the application to the CloudHub that we implemented using RAML API. So it's the same process. I will go to the view, command palette, deploy to CloudHub, and deployment.json has been created. So it's same with default values. If you want, we can change it, but I will keep it as it is. So I will go to command palette again, deploy to CloudHub. So we'll deploy on sandbox environment. So deployment has been started. We should see the second application in a moment. So we got that order API implementation, second application, and it's getting deployed. Order API implementation has been deployed. Let me go to the application. I will click on the domain name, and our endpoint was slash API slash orders. We got the result. So this is the result from get orders method, and we are getting the list of orders here. Let me go to our demo application. So I will go to the file, recent, and our demo integration application. So here we have logger, we have a transform message component. We can add more processors here to implement our logic. For example, if you want to read a file, so after logger, I will read a file, plus sign, I will search for file, and I will click the read operation. This is the file read operation got added in the flow. I will go to the top above the flow, and here I will add the file configuration. So I will write file, I will select file configuration, I will say file conf, and here I will add the file connection. To get the file connection, what I did control and space together, and then I selected the file connection. Again, control space for working directory field. I have one file in working directory in this location, members.csv. So I'll give this working directory there, and I will copy this file configuration name for file conf, and I will go to the file read operation, and here I will add the property configuration ref, and I will give the value name of the file configuration here. For path, I will give the name of the file, that is members dot comma separated value CSV file, and that's what we have in this directory. So I'm reading this file now. In transform message component, I will return the payload from the file. So whatever we are reading from the file, I'm returning to the caller of this demo endpoint. So I will say payload. Click save. So as you can see that we have added read operation, file read operation, that is reading a file, members.csv file, and output payload we are setting inside the transform message as a payload. So let me run it. Start without debugging. run without debugging. Okay, demo application has been deployed again. I will go to the browser and I will invoke the demo endpoint again. So here we got the result from the file. So this is a payload that is coming from file. We have two members and we are getting them. And that's what we have here in members file. David and Todd. And that's what we are getting here. So based on your logic, you can enhance this flow. You can add more component, more processors, and you can add more logic, and you can build and complete your integration application. So this is all in this demo. In this demo, I showed you how to design API, RAML API, then how to publish API to Exchange from Anypoint Code Builder. And then I implemented the Exchange Order API inside Anypoint Code Builder. And I showed you how to run the implemented API and how to deploy the API to the cloud. Then I showed you how to create a integration mule application and how to add the different components, sources, and processors inside the flow, and how to run the integration app in any point code builder. And then I showed you how to deploy the integration app to the cloud. I also showed you how to modify the deploy.json, and we added a property and we check that property is also getting updated in the runtime manager. So this is how you can use the Anypoint Code Builder to design, develop, and deploy APIs and integration applications. This is all in this video. If you like this video, click the like button and subscribe channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.